goal is to bring you your next favorite band.
Sweet, that intro is my new favorite band. That's phenomenal. I'm so excited to be on.
Yeah. I heard a rumor that you might be able to play that song live today.
You heard correctly. Yes.
Excellent. So,
good enough for rock.
I don't know when I rock out here on your next favorite band show.
and listen, it's going to be everybody's favorite band.
Phil, you weren't supposed to make me get all... God almighty,
But this
Phil.
is why we do it.
Like, seriously. I gotta gather myself. All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Welcome to your next favorite band. That's both the show title and our promise to you. We here at Stereophilia Studio are tireless in our pursuit of finding incredible, genre-defiant artists who are either a hot up-and-coming band or a group that has been delivering for years but have flown under the radar.
Tonight, we have the gypsy-soul rock and roll of Velvet Rouge.
Each month, we will bring you live streams, audio podcasts, and perhaps even a live concert where you can listen to the stories and hear the music of artists personally curated by us based on what we feel will be worthy of your time. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to each episode because the possibilities are endless and you never know who will be
Your next favorite band.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Philip Reese.
Hello, and I'm your co-host, David Moore.
And you are listening to...
Your next favorite band.
And a hot one tonight. Philly-based, but now I believe residing in Los Angeles. Gina Zoe of Velvet Rouge.
Made decisions based on weather, I'm presuming, at this point in time.
Well, it feels like Miami, if not worse, in this area lately.
Yeah, we've busted out the tropical weather map at this point in time, where we're reconsidering the habitat as a whole.
Yeah, I was driving around with my kids and kids. They're 20. They're all like 19, 20, and 21. And the dashboard said, this one of them said, "Does that say 100 degrees?" And I'm like, "Yep, sorry, we screwed the planet, but good luck with that."
Yeah, my car reported 104 when we were out the other day, and I said to my wife, "I'm like, is that accurate? Like this is concerning right now. Like that bothers me quite a bit."
It's unbelievable. But before we get to the guest for today, I did want to share some exciting news with you, David, and with our listeners. We are achieving some milestones. This was our month to get to 2 years. We passed 100 episodes a little ways back. We're approaching in on 20,000 views on YouTube and 5,000 downloads for the podcast version of the show. I don't know if these numbers are good or not, but there's something to at least mention. But we did get. I was very excited to be able to announce this. Another like glass ceiling to break through. Another element of proof that you're making it. We got our first bad review, and someone on social media. We were doing the recent episode for the Hoot and Hollers, and someone chimed in with "literally is my favorite band." These are the ones I point to when some fools say rock and roll is dead. FFS, which you can Google that if you want. These hosts are full of themselves, and the actual interview starts at 9 minutes in. So. Congrats, David. We got a hater.
Well, I believe what is the term? There's no such thing as bad press.
Well, right. I did view it that way. Like I actually wrote on it and said, "Thank you for sharing the interview," and I apologize for however that came across. But what I actually was like, well, what happened then? And it was the opening of that one is where we just talked about our Next Fave Band Presents show. So we were talking about Shug Daniels and Mike Roy and the Secret People. And we must have been talking a little bit about, like, we hope you trust us so that you would buy tickets to this show. I think that might have just landed wrong with him and maybe some other people. So apologies if that made us sound like we're full of ourselves. I don't know like we're not saying we know what the hell we're talking about. We're just simply saying we like this music. If you do too, cool, listen in. And if you don't, I totally get that. There's, tons of other options out there. But this is what we're trying to do, is bring music to be your next favorite band. So
I think it also might have been at the point where you went, well, we're also the best podcast on the planet. And that was like,
one.
oh, yeah, well, there's that, too.
There's that problem. But anyway, so I just thought that was fun. And listen, he also chimed back in after I did that, and then he kind of made a self-deprecating comment. So, like I said, it's all cool. And again, I'm not thinking we're going to be the right show for everyone. It's never like that. Never like that. But I just thought that was fun. I truly kind of believe that. Like, you might be making some noise if people are tuning in and not liking it. Like, hey, that's cool too.
if you make everybody, if you don't piss off somebody, right? Is that the phrase? You're not doing something right, kind of thing.
Sure, I guess so.
Yeah.
And let us know that. I mean, honestly, we do want to hear that feedback, and more importantly, what we're not doing right versus what we are doing right. So we do like to hear, hey, I like this band. You introduced me to them, cool. But I'd rather hear you're missing the boat on this band, and they should be on your show. Like, these are the people who should be your next favorite band. So. Let us know what you want to see and hear, and have us correct along the way. But yes, we are full of ourselves. But let's move on to our guest for this week, and we are very excited because. This particular band on a very meteoric rise, and has all over the, as people know, we're kind of in this Eastern PA footprint. Tons of awesome festivals they are a part of, which is, again, speaking to their excellence and their talent, because a lot of festivals wanted them on their lineup. So we'll get into that a little bit more later, but we wanted to make sure we shine a light on the excellent music coming out from a band out of Philadelphia called Velvet Rouge. And we would like to start off with their most recent single. It is called Lonely Since the Day We Met, and I really think you're going to like this and all the other tracks we play today. So let's give a listen to Lonely Since the Day We Met, brand new music from Velvet Rouge.
I've been lonely since the day we met. Heart was on fire, my eyes are red. You're nothing but a lie, rather see me dead than talk to me. Talk to me.
Finding beauty beneath the pain and harmony hiding in heartbreak is an art form that Gina Zoe has mastered as frontwoman of the Philly-bred, LA-based indie pop act Velvet Rouge. In 2016, Gina Zoe was featured on NBC's The Voice. Only 17 years old at the time, her performance granted her a spot on Team Blake for the show's 10th season. In 2020, Zoe formed Velvet Rouge, whose debut EP, Dark Hallways, was released in October of 2021 under the previous alias Zoe, amassing over 30,000 plays on Spotify. Velvet Rouge's upcoming self-titled EP is set to be released July 26, 2024.
Let's bring this back up, and then we'll bring Gina on the show.
Taking any love from you, that's the last thing I do. 'Cause I've been lonely since the day we met. Heart was on fire, my eyes are red. You're nothing but a lie, rather see me dead than talk to me. Now my throat is swollen red, and my soul is gone and dead. They say what's good is gone, but you were never good for me. I said I'm fine, I'm just waiting around for my head to come down. My thoughts to black out in my mind. Try to convince me to kiss you like this, on the condition that I can have my own place again. Get you out of my head, turn me off, turn me into you. I'm not into you. I need to be isolated.
Welcome to the show, Gina Zoe from Velvet Rouge.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
I was going to lower the music a little earlier, but then that like killer bridge kicked in, and I was like, whoa, I can't stomp all
Like, I
over
can't stop it now.
Exactly. But amazing song. It's such a great like summertime power ballad kind of thing. I mean, wonderful.
Thank you. Oh my God, that's so kind of you. I really love this song a lot, so I'm really glad that other people seem to be enjoying
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And if you don't mind, introduce us a little bit to the rest of the band.
Yeah.
If I get it right, many of these people were still part of the band back when it was Zoe, and then the
Yes.
name change. It's still the same people.
Yeah. Actually, so Buddy is the drummer. Oh my gosh, my hand's so sorry. I forget how close the camera is to my.
No, you're good.
Buddy is and I'm Italian, so.
There you go. You have to then.
The hands. Buddy, the third time, is our drummer in the band. He has been with me since right after The Voice. So literally since 2016, he has been a part of the band. And Joe, I think, the guitarist, I think he came in 2017. And when back then, it was just Gina, Zoe. I quit music for a bit, and we'll get to all that. But essentially, they've been in the band, and they've known me since I was pretty much on The Voice, cycle out basis. So it's me, Joe, and Buddy.
Nice.
Yeah.
And again, killer track, and just love to be able to kind of shine a light on that and this wonderful journey you've been on. I mean, it's got its ups and downs, of course, like anybody, but that's part of the beauty of it, is how you've overcome it all and persevered and excelled. I mean, it's been. I can't wait to dig in a little bit more, but that's brand new music, so that's coming out. The single's out there. There's another single coming out today, and you talk about spoiler alert, where you might be able to play it live today. So I'm super pumped for that.
Yes, I'm excited to play it for you.
Nice. And then the full EP comes out. 1
month from today.
1 month, right?
July 24th.
Nice. So lots of cool stuff to think. And then you are supporting it with a tour that we're in the middle of as well. So a lot of people can kind of check this out. And it's not just regional, like, because you're sitting 3 hours behind us or in front of us, depending on your point of view, in California, which is a super cool thing. You just moved recently, right?
Literally, I moved 4 or 5 weeks ago, but I was home for tour in the East Coast for 2 weeks. So I've barely been here, and I love it here so much. I love
That's
it.
awesome. That is awesome. And some of the tour is West Coast as well. So like that's a very cool thing to kind of touch on. It's
so special. I feel so lucky. But to live here is pretty next level. I'm not gonna lie.
For sure. So if you don't mind, we'll take this back to the beginning, where you have been kind of singing, dancing, performing at a very young age, whether it was for family or for shows. Like you have been doing this maybe since the moment you could walk, probably.
Pretty much. I was always performing. I love to go back into my camera roll because I have a couple VHS tapes that I've saved, filming of them.
Yep.
And pretty much. I think there's a video of me when I was maybe 5, and I have on this American Girl doll style nightgown. It's very long, and I think I have a fake microphone or something in my hand, and I'm singing, and my dad is filming me on the camera, and I'm like, I immediately want to see the video after, clearly knowing that
of course,
I constantly want to be on tape. And nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. But since I was
amazing.
Basically in the womb.
Perfect. And then is there musicians in, if I remember right, your siblings perform, and even your parent, there's musicians or music lovers in your family?
Oh, yes. I have stepbrothers, and I consider them to be my real brothers, but the one is he's actually playing on the video that you just watched. He's not in the video, but he played piano in it.
Very cool.
He's a fantastic musician, moving out to LA very soon too.
Nice.
My older brother, he did some rapping for a bit. My mom plays piano and sings. My stepmom's in the TV industry. So there's a lot of music all around me at all.
A lot of entertainment there.
Yes.
And then if I understand it right, the way you start really taking things a little more seriously for your music, your stuff, is your grandparent bought you a guitar around the age of 14.
Yes, my grandfather bought me guitar. I actually still have it in my room.
Fantastic.
Because I can't give it up,
No,
obviously.
gosh,
No,
no.
of
But
course
I
not.
never play it live because love my grandfather, but it's probably the worst sounding guitar. But at the time, I had no idea. I was like, this is the best thing to ever happen to me.
Right.
But yeah, he bought me my first one. I remember picking it out on like Guitar Center's website or
Sure.
something. And
So you can't even blame your grandfather. You were the one who picked it.
Oh, absolutely. But I had a certain budget, and the budget was very small. And I now know, much later in my career, that the very inexpensive acoustic guitars are generally not the best, and that's
Right.
okay.
Right.
I was playing that live for a very long time.
Sure.
And no one was complaining.
No, and it inspired you to take that next step. I mean, like, you start writing your own music. And then my favorite part about this that I read is, like, you actually started at 14 approaching bars and venues to try and book you. Like,
Dude,
the hustle is there from the
Yes.
beginning, too.
I played, my very first show was at a bar that Bam Margera owned at the time.
I love this, too.
Westchester.
Yeah, so,
They-
again, for people who may not know,
Yeah.
from the show Jackass,
Yes. He owned this bar.
owned a bar in Westchester called The Note.
Yes, it was called
Yeah.
The Note at the time.
Yeah.
It had like 6 different names, like
Right.
eventually. But it was called The Note, and I opened for this artist who's
Sure.
now massive, called Ryan Beatty.
Uh-huh.
And he was just like a little Justin Bieber style performer. And I never should have been allowed to open that show, but I was. It was I can remember everything so clearly, like what I wore and what I sang, and the guitar strap fell off part way through my performance. Like it was the best and worst thing all at once.
I love it. Because that's the other thing, too, is even knowing all these things that happened, it still showed you it was what you wanted to do. And that's priceless. Like, that's amazing.
Absolutely. I did it.
Any of those early tracks still in your repertoire, or is it...
No, however,
Mm-hmm.
some of those songs are like still to this day. We have one that I'm like, we honestly should record, like re-record, that we did, or I did when I was, because I recorded a demo when I was like 15.
Sure.
It's it's a really good song, but I actually can't find the CD anymore. Like the CD it was on, I don't know where it went, but I still know the song.
Yeah. Did you ever sell the CD, or was it just yours, like your first?
Just passed it out. I made
copies,
but I didn't sell them. I just passed
Got it.
them.
Well, we could just put
And
a call out there. Somebody's got to have
Oh,
that.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I even every single CD I wrote on it
Mm-hmm.
the name of every song on
Sure.
every single CD. I wrote like number 1 is blah blah blah, because we weren't buying like covers for them.
Yeah. Right. That's
Burned
amazing.
at home on
I
the,
gave it up
you
a
know.
Ziploc envelope.
Oh, that's awesome. But with that, it's like, I think that'll be, an itch that you just need to gonna scratch someday, where you're gonna have to update that song and re-release it for sure.
I know. It was really good. I can't believe I wrote it when I was 14. Like I do think of a couple of those songs and I was like, you weren't that bad.
What was the name of the track of the one you want to read?
It was called Gone.
Uh-huh.
And it's very funny. I'm sure you guys can think back of when you were like 13, 14, and
Sure.
to think that like you were in love or something, or maybe you were, but the words I was using, I was like, these are powerful things to say at 14.
Right. And
Right.
also, it's so universal. Like, it's something that everybody goes through at 13, 14.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
David, I feel like I keep cutting you off. Is there something you wanted to...
No, we're good. We're
Okay.
good. We're good.
I just...
David, stop.
I'm just going to comment on 13 and 14-year-olds and my unbelievably well understood passion for love songs at that point in time, where they're all schmaltzy and slow dance songs at that point in time when you really think about it. So more kudos to you for pulling one off that actually sounds like an actual song.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, only sort of. We were not playing it live now, but I'll have to. You guys are like, every time I talk about this, because I do bring this up a lot.
Sure.
And now I got like, and I actually, you know what? I reached out to the guy, and he said who did them, and he said he doesn't have the files anymore.
Oh, that stinks.
But
But I mean, you also could just... I bet it needs an update, because musicality and has probably
Oh, yeah.
matured. So
Oh,
you would
yeah.
probably add to it, layer it, and do it more in your current style. And
Oh,
so maybe the best thing to do is just start from scratch, knowing
do
what
it
you know.
again. I definitely remember it, and the band learned it, so it
There you go.
exists forever ago.
You
but-
should jam it at one of the upcoming shows. Just like, do some like, if they know it, just play it. Like, just do a fun little like in betweener. Like,
It would be fun. I think I'm gonna have to ask them if they would do it with me.
yeah, absolutely. Do it at Music Fest.
Exactly. Maybe I will.
Yeah, there you go. And so here we are. I guess at this point now you're either into or just starting high school, and you're not feeling like you're getting enough of the music training, so you actually switch to a different school so that you can really
Yeah.
get a little more invested, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, you really know everything. Holy shit. There's some of these things I'm like, did I ever tell anyone this? Yeah.
You did. I didn't do a seance or something,
Right.
or hire a private investigation term. No, it's out there.
Who is that? Was that the person following me?
All the way to Los Angeles.
Yeah, right. I believe it.
Yeah.
I did. I changed high schools so I could focus really on music, but really the whole aspect of all the things like my school, my high school, my original one. It didn't really have like a strong musical theater program. I also kind of felt like it was a school where it wasn't cool to be in theater, which is fine. That's that is a lot of places.
That's not fine. Don't. We got to make that much more cool. Like
I agree.
Yeah.
You're right. I do agree. But at my new school, it was cool. Like,
yeah.
I was in the jazz band, and I was in every choir, and I was in the musical theater. Like, I was doing everything, and I wasn't weird for it. I loved that.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about, but there's always this element of, it's funny, I studied theater through college. That's what I majored in. And when I get asked that now, I'm just in like the corporate world. People are like, "Oh, what did you major in college?" And I'm like, "Well, theater." And they're like, "Oh, sorry." And I'm like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?" And they're like, "Well, how do you really use that?" I was like, "Well, let's see. Everybody's working towards one goal. You have a time frame. Everybody has a role to play, not just on the stage, but designing the lights and the costumes. Sounds a lot like corporate America, actually." I was like, "What did your major prepare you for? Probably a lot less than what this did. Like working as a team towards a shared goal. It's better than sports, to be honest, where you're not actually going to go and compete against somebody and hit them. Like." Everyone always uses sports metaphors in corporate stuff. I use theater metaphors, and they seem to be a whole lot more appropriate.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I feel like to your point of I didn't do college theater training or anything, but I would say for certain, like there's so many things you have to memorize lines, and you do really need to understand like the lighting and all. I mean, it helps me now to this day because I can actually show up to a performance and like have an educated opinion on some of these things that maybe someone who did math in college, which I was not good at, but math in college couldn't say.
Right, exactly. No, that's very cool. Is this where I found somewhere, but I couldn't factor it in. I'm assuming this might be where it was. You got to perform at the Vatican.
Yes.
This was during the high school years?
I just really love that you know all these things. Yes. Is this in something? Like, where did you find that?
Yeah. I just read a bunch
guacamole.
Bill has all the trading cards that have all the stats on it.
For real. Okay, yes. So in high school, I think that was my sophomore year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they do it anymore, but at my school, the choir teacher has this program, and you basically get to go to all different countries every year. I think it was on spring break, but it was like extended.
Sure.
And we went to Italy and traveled around Italy, and singing at a Vatican Mass was one of the things.
That's awesome.
Which is like, I mean, I was in Catholic school. So that was wild to say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Like, no matter if you're Catholic or not, or you're religious or not, to think that like people built that before I know this isn't an architectural podcast, but I always think to myself, they built this stuff before they had like cranes. I know that sounds silly, but it's kind of crazy to think about.
No, it is. It's awe-inspiring, and you're also walking past like the Pietà made by Michelangelo.
Oh, and it's
that,
just there.
right. It's just off to the side, and then
Yeah.
that center thing. I forget what the heck it was called, but it was like I forget, another Italian famous person built that center altar and stuff, and
The
you're just like,
gold altar.
yeah. And then there's those massive statues of the gospel writers and stuff, and you're just like, you feel like you're just in a presence of such excellence. And anyway, it wasn't necessarily just about that. The reason why I wanted to bring it up is I think it's also formative for you to realize just how grand a stage you can be on, and that it's not just about the High School Musical or even Philadelphia for that matter. Like, this is inspiring you. I felt like I was seeing in there like this was setting you on, like, you know what, I'm going to set these goals way higher.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you kind of and that kind of took through the rest of my life, but every single stage that I have been on, even if it is like the Vatican in a different way, you kind of just start to realize, oh, this isn't so far off from like a reality that I could have.
Sure.
And you have like support of your family when you're like going to Europe, and it's something that like not most, I think I was 15, most 15-year-olds are not doing.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right.
Yeah, it was absolutely wild. It's not something I ever thought I would be able to do, but it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Which then obviously you come back, and not far after that is where you start to audition for something like The Voice.
Yeah, that happened right when I was graduating high school. I basically, so we would do all of these choir trips. Like we went to Italy, but there were smaller ones, like playing in Philadelphia at a church somewhere. There was some conference type thing we had to perform at. And I'm imagining they're all electronic, but we had to sign paper permission slips.
Right.
Oh, hi, doggy. I can hear you.
Oh, yes. My apologies for my dog providing a commentary on things in the background.
He would like to go to the Vatican too.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got a very strong opinion on Roman architecture, and he's upset that we've pivoted away from that.
So we had to sign these permission slips, and I forgot to get mine signed, but I wasn't going to let it stop me from going on this 3-hour choir trip and back. Like, this was, now I do understand that there is legalities and there is a reason to, now I get it, why she would be upset with me. But at the time, like, she could probably get in trouble for like kidnapping or something if I'm like gone missing or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't care. I was no,
Mm-hmm.
going on this trip. So she's like going through the permission slips, and she's like, Gina, can you come up to the front? She said, where's your permission slip? And I was like, I don't have it. And we're already on the move. And she said, do you understand? Like, what? And she was a terrifying 80-year-old woman. So I was like, I know. Like, I know I didn't give it to you. And at that point, again, I'm a senior. I think this was like right before graduation. So I'm not caring.
Mm-hmm.
And my silly self, for some reason, thought that I should just go back to my seat and apply to audition for The Voice. And that's what I did. And then I applied for the open call.
That's so fun. So and also your mom was urging you to consider it too, right? Yeah.
My whole life. We were actually on the phone the other day. My mom and I, we talk pretty much every day, and she always has an idea, some kind of idea, and then 3 months later is when I finally like the idea.
Right.
And that was basically...
That's just parents. Like,
that is.
Yeah.
She says it marked on her calendar. Don't worry, this will be fine in September.
No, actually, she said, it's okay, because I apologized the other day. It was another thing, another thing an idea she had that I said no until a few months later. Mm-hmm. And I apologized because it was a good idea. And she said, all moms go through this.
Right.
And it made me feel better, because I did feel bad. I was like, that was a good idea. Anyway, The Voice was the same thing. She wanted me to audition for American Idol and The Voice. And I was always like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want someone else to dictate my career. Meanwhile, okay, that's how it is, unfortunately, regardless. But Yeah, she told me. She kept telling me. It wasn't
yep,
until
yep.
someone annoyed me that I like decided.
That's amazing. It's always good to have, really good motivation for these things. Like, I'm going to show you.
That was my whole entire thing. But like, I think the real funny part of it is that it, in some ways, it worked.
Sure, absolutely. And this will probably shock you too that this is out there, but it sounds like you had, or your mother had, tickets to Phantom of the Opera that same weekend, and so you had to lose the opportunity to see the show because you were auditioning.
Yes. Yeah. My oh God, my mom. What my mom? Where's my mom putting things on the internet? Are you friends with her on Facebook?
I know.
Uh,
I think this
I'm
was
like, where are
something
you finding these? Yes.
I
That
can
was
go back and I should actually footnote everything so that I can go back and show you where I
You
grabbed
really
it.
should. I am so curious. But I yes, I ended up getting through the open call, and kind of how it works is that you literally go back a day or two later to do your callback.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe like there was a second round, and then you do the callback, and then you have a TV interview of some kind, like a taped interview. So I was like, I need to go practice. I have to come up with 5 songs. I think it was 5 or 6 songs that you need to have ready. Some of them with a live instrument and some without.
Right.
So I needed to go get a guy that I knew to play the guitar for me, because I didn't want to play it myself. Because I'm a performer, and I don't usually like to be the one playing if I can avoid it.
Right.
And so I was just like, holy God, like, oh my God, it's happening. It's
Right,
happening.
right,
Like, you know, the Michael Scott in
Yeah.
the one episode of Office. It's happening.
It's heavy.
That was me. That is me most days.
That's amazing. And you auditioned with one of my absolute favorite songs. Like, I thought it was a great choice because it's not something I think most people would think of to audition with.
Which one?
It was Cecilia and the Satellite, right?
Yeah. Okay. So, sort of. Okay. There, you got something
Okay.
wrong.
Okay.
I'm thinking like.
Let's correct that officially.
Correct. So full
sort
of myself.
Kind of. You are not wrong. You're not wrong in the sense that my song for the judges was Cecilia and the Satellite, but you go through. I must have done
Waves and waves.
20 songs before that for other people. There really is so many steps.
The rings of producers.
Yeah, and well, so how it works then when you're going to pick your song is they send you maybe a list of like 300 songs that they're allowed to have at that time. And you give them your top 20 in order of what you would want to perform. And I remember actually being super annoyed that I got that song. I was really annoyed. And I was annoyed because I thought there were so many better ones, but I should have been more annoyed at myself for putting it on the list. So I didn't really want to do it that badly, but
it worked.
Like what? But it worked. No, it totally worked. It was unique and different. And the way that I did it, I wanted to do it in a different way. I wanted to do something different. So it worked. And it's a fantastic song. You're right.
It's really great. Fantastic. And you end up becoming part of Team Blake. David shared that in the opening bio, which he commented that you might have been the oddest couple that The Voice ever put together.
Legitimately.
Right.
No, we really were. And I think later on, what I'm assuming enticed him was that the style was kind of, he had just started dating Gwen Stefani. And I imagine the style got him like excited. Like this is something that like kind of relates to the person that he was dating.
Oh, totally. And it's funny, like I love so a lot of times when I'm into someone's music and their performance, I'm always going, there's something familiar, can't quite put my finger on it. And really where it came down to is, it always comes out in the research, it's always like, that's where it's from. And really what I think you are is this awesome blend of Gwen Stefani and Stevie Nicks. And because I remember learning that you listened to a lot of Fleetwood Mac because it was either your parent or your grandparent. And I was just like, wow, that's kind of what this is this meld of this, their two performance types and songwriting types is so much what I think is a lot of what I would say to somebody, here's what this is going to be like. And I think it's a great way to describe it.
Thank you. That's such a compliment. And I do agree in the terms of like, I mean, yes, I was listening to Fleetwood Mac and dancing in the basement to that over and over growing up with my grandparents. And and Gwen Stefani, like I'll never forget. I don't remember what award show it was, but she did her song "Wind It Up," I think it was called, or something. It was like a yodeling type fun pop song, and I will never forget like her cool style and who she was, and to get to work with her was like unreal.
Yeah, for sure. And again, each one of these obviously being extremely formative for your next, step up the ladder.
Oh my God, absolutely.
That's so cool.
Was life-changing.
Yeah. I have a picture here from, I guess this must be like a press photo from The Voice.
I'm scared. Oh, okay. There's one of me that I hate. But no, that one's really cute. Yeah. So me is a little munchkin.
Yeah, blondie.
Really wild. Yeah, really blonde. Really crazy. My voice cover. Yeah, it's really cute.
There you go. And you make it 9 episodes into like, I guess it's called like the battle stage or something like that.
Yeah. So there's like the blind auditions go for like 7 episodes or something.
Right.
And then I think I was on the 2nd episode of the battle rounds. And honestly, I think unfortunately the downfall was that he was my coach. And I say that because he's a country singer, and
sure.
The songs that we were getting picked for us for the battle round, I just think that it didn't do what it needed to do to showcase me, basically. And that's okay. Whatever. I mean, it ends up being what it is, but there's that interesting element of the show. You have to work with what you get.
Sure.
You're not in charge, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So after that, so The Voice obviously shines a light on your excellence, and so people are probably ringing your phone up to say, we'd like to sign you. And I think I wanted to also, like, it's important for people to know these elements of the industry as well, because it's the darker parts we leave the name out, but the point is you get signed to a label that ends up not treating you well.
Yeah.
From what I understood, controlling and even over-sexualizing you you're still a teenager at the time. I mean, like, it was really the crappiest parts of what the industry can be like. I mean, I'm sure it could even get worse, but the point is, it puts you in a spot where you even have to take a break from recording and writing. Like, I mean, that's how poorly it treated you.
Yeah, no, it was, it's interesting because you get really excited and your family gets so excited, like, oh my God, someone's showing interest in you. And it's not that, I think it's that no one, when you're not from like a music industry background, like, yes, my stepmom was in TV,
sure,
but you don't really know what's right and what's wrong in some ways. And I don't think at that time, most people weren't talking about the things about like the sexualization and different things. They weren't yet. I think it was pretty soon after, but it was really horrible in so many ways. And I remember just being like, I just have to make it the 2 years. Like, I've just got to get through the deal and get that done. But by the end, I was like, I'm done. I'm not singing. This is not fun.
Right, exactly.
Right, you've sucked all the fun out of it.
Legitimately. It was like, this isn't fun. If I have to constantly be told what to do and I can't make my own decision, no matter how old I am, then why am I doing like this isn't fun? Like, why would I?
And that's going to squash creativity and obviously make you not even like what's being put out there as a representation of you. And that's why you did. I think it was probably a smart move that you just basically put it on pause.
No, it was definitely to come back now. It was definitely a game changer for me. I learned so much in that time, like, just not only about who I am, but those kind of aspects of the industry, like we were talking about the lighting and different things. Like, I became a photographer. Like, I completely jumped into something else and was shooting New York Fashion Week and got a really great job as a fashion photographer. And I just was like, I'm done with the music. I'm done with it. I don't want to do it.
That's almost a tragedy that would have pushed you that far out. Like, unbelievable that would have been that way.
Was literally not singing like no, I always joke, like, literally no singing in the shower. Like, I was not singing. There was no singing.
Yeah, and are you in college at this time, or is that
Yeah.
a little
Yeah,
okay?
no,
So James Madison is where you go to college.
yeah, I went to school at JMU, and my record contract ended my sophomore year going into my junior year. So I finished my last 2 years without music. But yeah, at James Madison, I was an
Yeah.
advertising student. So I was like, I'm doing something completely different.
Mm-hmm. And that might have been cool for your photography, picking up too for the advertising side of it.
Oh my God. Yeah, no,
Mhm.
it was amazing. I completely changed everything about what I was doing. Nothing was the same besides, myself. I'm still like the same person, but
Sure.
I just wanted to do something completely different. And I
Mhm.
remember no one would shut up though about like me being a singer. Like it was always it was so annoying. It was so annoying. People would be like, "Oh yeah, Gina was on The Voice. Gina did this." And at the time I was so bitter about
Sure.
what had happened to me that I was just like, God, can anyone shut up?
I can imagine because again, like it was a part of that. It's a darker time, and it was also this. Again, you're probably pissed off that there's this stuff out that you didn't get to make the decisions on. That you're like,
Absolutely. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I wasn't excited to show anyone almost anything
Sure.
that I had done. I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I
Right,
don't
right,
want
right.
to listen. Turn off my music.
Zoe, more like no. Anyway, but basically, this is the funny part is pandemic shuts things down for so many people, whereas it actually reignited your music. I guess maybe having that worldwide pause gave you the moment to maybe clear out the cobwebs a little bit to the point of you saying, no, I really missed that.
Yeah, over the couple of years I had of not performing, because it was probably 2 to 3 years, I would reach out to the band a couple times to say like, hey, I'm thinking about maybe doing this, and then I would get cold feet every time.
Sure.
And there was something about this time that, yes, during the pandemic, I remember it so clearly. I got home from work because at the time I was at a fashion photographer at a
Sure.
store in Philadelphia. And during the pandemic, we were still going in because it was like two of us. Like we would go to the city. And I come home. I was living with my boyfriend at the time, ex-boyfriend, but boyfriend at the time.
Sure.
And we were sitting on the couch, and I was like, I think I wanted to sing again. Like, I think I wanted to sing. And keep in mind, I'm a photographer. I also have a blog. I'm putting out products on my blog. Like I was doing journals and different things. I was living like a whole different life, like I said, and constant in photo shoots. So I don't have a lot of time. And he said, well, you're already so busy. Like, what am I gonna do? What? You're gonna be broken up with.
That's exactly right.
So I broke up with him very soon after.
Sure. Well, the clarity of those moments where you're just like,
Yep.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm gonna be a singer. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be a singer again. And yeah, I called my band and I was like, I'm serious this time. We're gonna do it, but if we're gonna do it, we're gonna go all out.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not working with people unless they're great. We're not taking shit. Like we are doing this for us, and we're doing it the way we want to.
Yeah.
And that was like, it was completely like I was back.
Sure. And the name change is part of it too, because there's an element to it where you're trying to advocate for the proper treatment of women in the industry and so on, with the mention of velvet, kind of like behind the velvet curtain and stuff, and Rouge being this like a angry red kind of thing, like a rage induced music, but in a great way, a very positive affirmation kind of way for to be a pillar for other females to be inspired by as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. That was I mean, we knew we needed to pick a different name because we also hated the old music and we didn't want it to be
Sure.
associated.
Yeah,
And
the
so-
clean break.
Yeah. And so it was very important that, that we picked something. Number one, pick something else. Number two, pick something that was resonant of, like you just said, all of these things that were so important to me. And I don't think at the time the band really understood like that level of need for me for this
Sure.
to be such like a difference. And they've been so supportive of like, if I know that someone's being weird, I'm like, this is weird. Like they're not normal, or they're being very sexual or whatever it might be.
Sure.
Like we stand up for each other. And so the name just, it really files into who we are now.
Yeah. No, and it's admirable. And again, like I think that should be out there for other people to know, if that is at all on your radar with where you're currently creating your music. It's not okay, and that you should feel the confidence to put a stop to it. Perhaps reach out for help, and
Absolutely.
you know, that kind of stuff
Go for it.
is to not just go along with it because your career is important to you. That's not okay. So like,
Oh
I
my
think
God,
that's
100%.
right.
It's so beyond important. And I think I talked to a lot of other young women in the industry,
Sure.
and it might not even be that they're being like sexualized or they're being like inappropriately talked about XYZ.
Sure.
It might just more be that like a man is being like aggressive about what he wants,
Right.
instead of what the artist wants. And so I really tried to make it a point to make sure that everyone knows, that all these women know that, number one, like producer for reference, are you paying them? Yes. So it actually doesn't really matter in the reality what they want.
Right.
You're paying them to do what you want. So
Correct.
that's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing is, do not trust a word out of a man's mouth ever.
Right. No,
However-
that's a fair point. Exactly.
Never. They only want one thing, and we know what this is, but I'm not going to say it. But, you know, if someone really wants to work with you and they really think you're amazing, they are not going to try to like literally change you. They're going to they're going to love what you are right now, and they're going to morph you into something even better. But it's not going to be that far off. They're not going to like put you in stripper heels unless you say, I want to be in stripper heels.
Sure. Right.
And that's how it should be. And I try to make it like very clear to other women that you have the power, and only then when you show that you have the power are they going to back off. And if they back off all the way, they never wanted you in the first place.
Correct.
So
Right. No, it's excellent advice and a fair point too. Like, there's so many ways that it's like, if you're working with somebody who can't possibly understand where you're coming from, and they're just giving you this like ultimatum on here's what works in the industry, it's like, that's not the person for you then. Like, it's just not, it's not going to be unleashing any of your potential, nor is it going to be successful for you long term. I mean, like, none of it is worth it.
No, I also always tell them, like, show me what they've done. Like, I know this one girl who songs can cost to get the song. Wait, hold on, wait. Oh my God. Brain fart. The songs that you make, it can cost a lot of money. Like,
Sure, of course.
a song
Sure, of course.
can cost, like our EP was not too much money. It was definitely worth it. But like a
Right.
song, let's say, can cost maybe like at the minimum $2,000, let's say,
Right.
if you're getting it done by someone who has a lot of credits. And that's pretty normal, I would say, for someone who has a lot of credits and you use their studio. This girl, that I know, she's younger than me, and she wanted to know if it was normal that a song was going to cost $4,000. And I said, well, it's not necessarily not normal, but what has he done?
Right.
And he didn't have a Grammy or been nominated.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm like, it should not cost him $4,000. It should not cost you $4,000 to make the one song
Right.
at all. Like, There is no reason, and she didn't end up working with him. And I say that because I just keep asking women, like, what's his credentials for acting this way? Like,
Sure.
if he's got like credentials for behaving the way that he is, I always also joke in dating, like he's not hot enough to be acting that way. He's not hot enough to be that way.
To charge that, yeah.
For women that listen, or men that listen, get your shit together. You're not hot enough to be acting this way. And same goes for credentials. If you don't have the credentials, why are you acting this way?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's important.
No, and listen, I think it's an amazing, being a resource for people in need of, they're at that earlier part of the phase, and you could be such a great, mentor for them. It's just highly admirable that you've done that. I mean, that's great. And, I hope you get opportunities to like speak on these topics at like, whether there's, women in the industry type events where they could have, keynote speakers or whatever. I think this is the type of stuff you should be doing for sure. I mean, it's the stuff that helps kind of out the garbage and lets people just be creatives in a space that's safe. I mean, that's kind of all.
Absolutely.
That shouldn't be too much to ask for.
Yeah. I don't like to be the person that holds my secrets, like secrets to success close to me. It's like, it's not really worth it. You should want to share your secrets.
Of course. And these are things that shouldn't be secret. Like, these are things that should be, this is okay, this is not okay. Like, the secrets is what's perpetuating the problem. So,
Absolutely.
Again, kudos to you for shining a light on all that.
Thank you.
I did want to share, so there's a song that came out more recently, so it isn't off the first stuff you released, but I think it's an amazing song. It's probably my favorite of your catalog. And it also, what we have here is a live version of it, so it also is going to show people this, amazing performer that you are in front of the audience. So the song is called Fakin' It. And we're going to let it play for a little bit, and then I'm going to kind of lower it down. We can talk over the top of it because there's such cool aspects to it. But a lot of times people often say, get to the music, Phil. So this is a moment where we also want to, intersperse the music in with the great talking. But so here, check out Faking It by Velvet Rouge.
I debated coming here tonight. I've been out of sight for so long. I've been hating every single time I get close, 'cause I've flipped the switch and they turn on. Somehow you touch me beneath my skin. You see who I really am within. He has a way when he moves, cosmic.
So like I was saying, you can really see the amazing performer that you are. It's more than just singing and awesome vocals and songwriting.
Thank you. I mean, I love performing. Like, I love dancing. And this is how I am in real life. So it's very fun to do on stage.
And like I said, this is indicative of like Stevie Nicks and Gwen Stefani got melded together and turned into it's just amazing.
Thank you so much. I love watching these videos of me. I can't lie, because it's so fun to see, like, when you're, I don't know if you guys are like, when you go to a wedding, like if you're willing to go on the dance floor and dance and let go.
Sure.
But, you think to yourself, like, do I look ridiculous? So it's fun to see that, you don't look ridiculous. Like, if you're having fun.
No, you're right.
You're right. You're
gonna look okay. Like,
Yep.
Oh my God, so fun. I mean, I was trained as a dancer, so that does help, but.
Sure.
Oh,
and this even speaks to earlier, you said you'd rather not have an instrument in your hand.
Yes. Yeah.
I think the audience would rather you not have an instrument in your hand too. This is so fun.
I think they get like bored when I have an instrument because they love the dancing.
I'm sure not. It's different, but still, this is so awesome. And I do owe a thank you to, there's a YouTube channel. This is not a recording that we had. This is from the Medford Oktoberfest last year, in 2023. The channel is, the person's name is Barb1313, and it's a whole channel of just a ton of awesome music videos. Like, it's really great. So go give her a follow if you like people, sharing music videos.
Yeah, I've never even seen this. This is sick. I need the light.
So there you go. You just say thank you to Barb1313.
Barb. 1313 girl.
Yeah. Hit us up. But yes, it's a super fun song. The other thing too that I love displaying a live recording is this sounds so much like the recording. Like, I love when an artist is just that talented where sometimes somebody can over-engineer or over-layer a song and you go hear it live and you're like, that's not what I came to hear. Like, this is so electric and it's such a great representation of the studio recording that it's impressive.
Thank you so much. I think with all of these songs, the songs we're coming out with and what we have recently put out in the last year, that's been a pretty big goal. Is we are a band when we go in that really does like it to sound like we played it, and so I really appreciate that.
Oh, for sure. And one other element to definitely touch on is this song is about coming out. You recently came out as bisexual. And so it's a song, an anthem of sorts to kind of, again, advocate for people being their most genuine selves. And so I kind of wanted to give you a moment to talk about that. Happy Pride, by the way. I mean,
thank you.
It's June, but, it's something we should be doing all year long, of course. But
yes. Well, number one, I'm so sad because every time I've had a performance this month has been during, like, the Philly Pride or the LA Pride. So unfortunately, I haven't gotten to go to an actual like Pride parade, which is depressing. However, last year I went to my first Pride in New York with a couple of my friends who really just like inspired me. The one girl, Brooke is her name. She actually does a lot of graphic design for us, which is so fun. But we started working together at the store we were both working at, and she was bisexual, and I always was kind of thinking I was, but I didn't really feel like I fit in. Like I talk about this a lot because I think so many people think that like to be bi or lesbian or gay or whatever you might be, that you have to look a certain way or you have to talk a certain way or you have to be something, you have to be in some way. And I always felt like maybe I wasn't because I didn't look like any of them. Sure. I didn't think I knew any bisexual people. I knew a few gay people. I think I might have known like 2 lesbian people. I was like, I don't think I know anyone. And I'm not even like any of them. So maybe I'm not. You don't know. And so, but I knew I was attracted to women. I just like couldn't really figure it out, I guess. And so,
well, there's also you're talking about just the internal process. There's this just external stigma and difficulty and all that stuff that just again doesn't need to be there. So it's like right. So and I mean we'll just say it. You went to Catholic school. Like there's all sorts of dogma that have been thrown at you your whole life. That it's like also making you question it even when you have it as a genuine, an assured thing. You're still going to be up against the difficulties.
Absolutely. So when Brooke told me that she was bisexual, I was like, oh, Brooke is cool. Like, okay. Brooke is like, I always joke she's like my punk friend.
Sure.
Because she's like badass, has pink hair. Like, she's just so cool. I always thought she was the coolest person ever. Right. And when she told me that, I was like, okay, well, if like Brooke's bi, okay. Like there are people more like me that are like this. Sure. And
we can also be 100% sure there's a whole lot more bisexual gay people in your life that you didn't know.
And then I realized that. Yeah, right. No, absolutely. Right. And then I was like, oh, so many of you are. And what I really loved was, no one in my life was upset that I was bisexual. That was definitely a great start. Yeah. But another part of it was kind of like, yeah, Gina, like, of course, I don't know, some kind of thing of like my friends being like, yeah, of course you're bisexual. school. Like,
Right.
I feel like we knew this.
I did.
And,
There's
which is fun.
The stories are often that way, where it's just like when I finally told my friends and family, they were like, "We know."
We know, we're just waiting. You just say
Right.
it.
Yeah.
And so that was really fun. That was fun. But no, when I wrote this song, I obviously came out to my friends and family in the beginning of the year, and then I decided I wanted to tell everyone. And the way, of course, that I'm going to do it is I'm going to put a song out,
Sure.
of course. And it just turned out to be like just so perfect. Like it was so perfect. And there were a couple people who, one person had they had literally said because of the song, they had decided to tell all their friends that they were trans, and they hadn't told any of their friends that yet.
Sure.
I had a family, like a second cousin. I think that's where the lineage goes.
Sure.
She was a young girl, and she told her aunt, I guess, I think it was her aunt, how special it was that someone she knew was also in the community, and it wasn't just her. And so I think that what people, they're so afraid to come out, and that's completely understandable. But I think that they forget the level of like really positive impact that being honest about who you are can make.
Sure, absolutely.
It completely changes things for everyone, because more people than not than you think are probably in the community, like you said.
Sure.
And I think I was just so afraid that not that I would be hated. I wasn't really worried about that because my family is so accepting, but more that I just wasn't gonna fit. Like I just wasn't gonna fit the mold of what being in it is like.
Sure. No, I get it. And I think too, it's all about safe space. Like it's really just about, can I explore this and say it out loud in a way that then is okay, no matter what happens on the other side of this. And so that's what you're doing with music too, is creating this space that says, there are others who feel this way. There are others who are struggling with this, that are faking it. In this case, is what the element of what you're shining a light on, and that you don't have to. Like it's going to be okay. And I think that's huge. Like, so killer track, and I loved it. And then it just has this awesome message to it as well. And I just think that's terrific. So yeah, and that is not on an album. That's a single that's out there. It's not on an album or an EP. But we are basically seeing these singles come out now of a forthcoming EP. So we played off the top of the show here, Lonely Since the Day We Met, which was the first single. Today, another single came out, and I'm just honored that you're going to do this. So you're going to play this live now, right?
Yes, I am.
Awesome.
I am. Wait, do you want it right now?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's get you guitar tuned and whatnot. We'll kind of come off the screen and give you the full center stage here.
Okay.
And you can let's have you intro it and play it, and we are
let's make the full scoop here.
Absolutely. So here we go.
This song, while I'm tuning, this song we had written probably in like 2021, I think, and it was funny because no one me and Joe wrote it together, the body of the song, and then I wrote the lyrics, and my drummer couldn't figure out what to play on the track. So the funny story about us recording it was that we record every song in the day for the EP. We do all the drums and bass in one day, as long as we can do it, and for this we could. And I had a concert to go to that night with my dad. It was like a gift that I got him for Christmas or something. And or maybe his birthday. And so I had a time that I needed to get out by. And we were not done. This song that I'm going to play for you and that you can now hear today. So I sing, we do one take, I sing the take, and I said, well, you can run it a bunch of times and you could just use my vocal track. And when I came back, or maybe Buddy had called me the next day, my drummer, and he said, the song's completely different. And if you know me, you can tell I like control a little bit. And so, the song was completely different. the drums were completely different than what we wrote, and it turned out 1,000 times better. So I'm very, very thrilled about it. I'm going to pull up my chords so I don't forget. Like I said, Joe is our guitar player. I am like to dance. So I don't usually play the guitar too much for on stage, and I don't for this song, but I'm excited to play it. So this is Shattered. He was once tied to her heart. From her bed he left his signature notch. To left from the center, BM were scarlet letters. Write it out, spell it out, his name, till the truth comes out. He is known to guess, and he missed that. Treats him like this, run faster than a bullet, shot from a gun. He shattered, he had her, hit her last heart, and he broke her once. It scattered, shattered straight into the dark. He claims never to been played by a woman on any given day. He's got the finest selection of wine. Reds are his favorite lesson. Write it out, spell it out, his name, till the truth comes out. He is known to kiss, and he missed that. Treats him like this, so run faster than a bullet, shot from a gun. He's shattered, mattered, hit her glass hard, and he broke her once. It scattered, shattered. How can a man tear this girl's heart? How can anyone break her whole world apart? Instantly hit her glass heart, and he broke her once. He shattered, shattered straight into the dark. Run faster than a bullet, shot from a gun. He shattered, mattered, hit a glass hard, and he broke her once. It scattered, shattered. How can a man tear this girl's heart? How can anyone break her whole world apart? Instantly hit a glass heart, and he broke her once. It shattered, shattered straight into the dark. Thank you.
Excellent. What a great track.
Thank you.
That was great. Thank you.
Yeah, oh my god, thank you. It's funny because like acoustic, it sounds so different. Like not that much different, but it's a rock song. So
Sure.
I'm excited for everyone to hear it and see the video. The video is like beyond. It's so good. So I can't wait.
Nice. Wonderful. Well, before we kind of close things out, really promoting things, we always like to run down a couple of small little trivia items that we find. Well, these aren't trivia, but they're just simply like quick hitters. You're a member of the Recording Academy, so you vote for the Grammys.
Yes, that is true.
You were, I think it was 2 years ago, named Philly's hottest rock band.
Yes, that is also true.
Right? Cool things. You're a massive fan of Hannah Montana.
That is also true. My very first concert.
Right, there you go. And then you once had a broken toilet seat attached to your wall with Gina
How the
broke
hell
this
do you know this?
with in black Sharpie that says Gina broke this.
Oh, where is that? Oh my God! Yes.
With what you're saying earlier, I was like, oh, I can't wait to get to the toilet seat reference
Holy
then.
God, yes. I was in college. You can guess why the toilet seat might have fallen off. Having too much fun.
Right?
Drinking. And I broke it off and we hung it on the wall. I wonder where
Seems
that
perfectly good for college.
perfectly. I have no regrets.
Of course. And
Right answer.
And, no, I say this every time someone mentions like they don't know where the internet is undefeated. So
Undefeated. Holy God.
Yeah.
God, if you could find that.
This is why you want to teach your kids. Make sure you're okay with anything that's ever written about you.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine. You know what? If you found anything that's inappropriate, let a girl know, please.
No. This is the extent of it. I would definitely have let you know if there's something out there that needs to get taken down.
Thank God.
Yeah. No. All
That's
good stuff.
great, though. That's great. Oh my God. I love that that's on. I don't hate that that's on the internet. I'm more shocked.
But now let's get to some promotions here. We'll bring up your site in a second. First, we want to talk about the EP release show. So on July 24th here in Philadelphia, Johnny Brenda's, which you sold out last time. 27th?
July 27th.
Okay. Let's correct
The EP
that.
itself comes out on the 24th, and the show is on the 27th. Right?
Are
we messing it all up now?
That's okay.
This is proof right here, so this helps you. Skip what we just said. It's July 27th, Johnny Brenda's, which you sell out last time. So get your tickets early. Right, there you go. On the regular, that's what we'll say.
On the regular. It's a good story because I wanted to play there for so long and they would never let me. And then they gave me a show 2 weeks in advance and I sold it out. So
nice.
Nicely done. So yeah, if you're in the Philly area, this is the EP release show, which I guess the 24th, like David said, is probably when it's coming out. So it's
the final single comes out the 24th,
nice.
And then the EP comes out the 26th, and our show is the 27th.
There we go. And you have some support there, Caring Less and Laserdisc.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick. They're both fantastic Philly bands.
And the other thing on the site, which I'll bring that one up now, it says something about new outfits. So I was curious to know more about that.
Oh, yes. I am working with an amazing designer. Her name is Kate. Her brand is Undone by Kate.
Here's the site.
And she does all of my tour clothing now. And specifically, like, she has done Selena Gomez and Kelsey Ballerini and Julia Fox. Like,
nice.
She's done incredible stuff, and I have a whole new outfit for
so
the show.
Special EP merch, new outfits like we talked about, 2 killer openers. It's definitely something to check out if you're in that Philly area. It's definitely one not to be missed. I wanted to mention again, so like here's your kind of like late spring summer lineup, and like we talked about in the open, amazing festivals, Ladybug Music Festival, Beard Fest. Music Fest is the one that's upcoming. Yeah. Those other 2 that I mentioned have passed already. Music Fest here in Bethlehem, we can't wait to have you here on August 7th. And again, for people who maybe are not familiar, Music Fest is an entirely free festival, so that will be a free show and a wonderful time. As people who tune into the show know, we talk about it a ton. But can't wait to see you at that one. And then also Exponential in September, like holy smokes. And then all these other great cities in between.
Yeah, it's when you were saying that in the intro, I like wanted to cry because it's very, very special. And it's all of these. It's something we've wanted to do for such a long time. To get to play these is like something I've out of a movie. And for this to just be the start,
right.
My friend always reminds me, like, we were writing down my dream festivals like a few years ago. And these were all on it. So that's very exciting.
That's
That's
and congrats
fantastic.
on all of that. Yeah. And this coming Saturday, the 29th of June, you're here in Bethlehem at Live at the V, which is a super cool venue that has recently taken off around here.
Yeah, I am so excited to get to be performing there. I've never played in Bethlehem before, so I thought this was a good little kickoff for Music Fest. So
Totally.
I'm very excited.
Yeah. So definitely get tickets to shows as Velvet Rouge is nearby you. And then we always want to make sure we sling the merch. This is the other way to help support the artist. Lots of cool stuff here, from stickers to bracelets to hats and T-shirts. So great stuff. You can, and then it's cool that you're releasing some EP exclusive stuff at that one show. That's fun.
Yes, I have a really fun a sticker that says "Too hot for my ex," so I can't wait to give it to everyone.
So the opposite of not hot enough to act that way is too hot for the ex. I love it.
Yes. For girls, only girls are too hot for their ex.
Excellent.
Nice. I mean,
If you didn't know that.
Well, like I said, personally can't wait for Music Fest, but thank you so much for coming on the show today, Gina. This was a wonderful conversation.
Thank you so much for having me and for knowing so much. I now know more about myself than I did before.
Well, and also congrats on all the great music and the wonderful tour that's coming up.
Thank you.
David.
Philip.
Velvet Rouge. Gina Zoe.
Yeah, I think you went that the big archives at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they put the Ark of the Covenant, is where you go and you find all of these things about artists. So you've got special access to these things.
Yep, and I'm not giving up my secret. No, it honestly is. It's just if you go to Google,
past the first page of the search results, it's amazing what you will find.
Exactly, and it might be a lot more accurate to what you were looking for. But
that's another one too.
Yeah. Great music. I mean, I'm just so happy to have, found them, and can't wait to see them performing at these festivals coming up. Obviously, we will both be at Music Fest.
It's true.
We also go to Exponential, so we'll have plenty of opportunities to see these performances, and can't wait for all the new music to come out.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
All right, Phil, let's say goodbye to everybody.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Your Next Favorite Band. We'd like to sincerely thank Gina Zoe of Velvet Rouge for joining us today, for performing live, and for sharing all these amazing stories of how she overcame all sorts of elements to finding her way to this excellent, amazing music and performance that she's able to put out there for you to listen to and enjoy on stage. There'll be links in all the show notes to the website, the Spotify channel, YouTube channels, and the various different things. I'll try and also find the articles that had these little tidbits of trivia for her backstory, and this way you can kind of read these things out there yourself. As always, our hope is to bring you your next favorite band. If you tuned in today because you already knew Gina and Velvet Rouge, thank you so much. We hope you might like, subscribe, and follow us so that we can bring you your next favorite band in a future week. Or your next favorite band might already be out there at nextfaveband.com. You can pull up all our prior interviews. You can either listen to them through the podcast version, or you can watch the video on demand like this. And you just might already have your next favorite band out there ready to be discovered. We have a lot of great stuff planned here for July, and then, of course, the lead up to Music Fest, where now Velvet Rouge gets to be considered a Fest Fave band, since they have been on the show. There's actually going to be 21 different bands that we have previously interviewed that are part of the lineup, so you can get prepped for it, and hope to see you at a live show soon. And stay tuned as we play one more song from the Velvet Rouge catalog. This one's going to be called Blacklight.
That's my best kept secret. That's my play with fate. lights turn off.